hormonal control. So for further information, look at hormone, endocrine system, or endocrinology, and those separate Wikipedia articles. So hormones are signaling molecules transported in the blood to distant organs to regulate their function. Hormones are secreted by internal glands that are part of an animal's endocrine system. In vertebrates, the hypothalamus, I think that's how you pronounce it. Hypothalamus is the neural control center for all endocrine systems. All right, let's take a look here. So, Emmius note the hypothalamus from the ancient Greek under, and this word meaning chamber, is a portion of the brain that contains a number of small nuclei with a variety of functions. One of the most important functions of the hypothalamus is to link the nervous system to the endocrine system via the pituitary gland.
Pituitary gland.
Yeah, pituitary gland. Yeah, which is very interesting. So the pituitary gland is to link the so the hypothalamus links the nervous system with the endocrine. That's the gland hormone signaling molecule transporter system, and then it's linked via the pituitary gland. Very, very interesting. And here's the location of the human hypothalamus. Is over there. So it's a portion of the brain that contains a number of small nuclei with a variety of functions over there. And the endocrine system is a messenger system comprising feedback loops of the hormones released by internal glands of an organism directly into the circulatory system, regulating distant target organs. It's very, very interesting. So let's take a look at these glands right here, and we'll go over most of these in detail. So here's the this. If you zoom in here, then you get this. If you zoom in there, you have the pituitary gland over here, and this is the pineal gland over here. Then at the neck area, you have this this thyroid gland, which also has inside this parathyroid gland setups over there. And then if you go over here near the kidneys, you have the adrenal gland. Then you have the pancreas is over there. It functions as a gland. And then you have the ovary as a gland, testes over there. So main glands of the endocrine system. Yes, very, very interesting. All right, let's make this a bit smaller and continue. So the pineal gland, or let's see the pronunciation.
Pineal
gland, or canarium. Let's see the pronunciation.
Canarium,
or epiphysis cerebri.
Epiphysis cerebri.
Or epiphysis cerebri is a small endocrine gland in the brain of most vertebrates. The pineal gland, let's see the pronunciation. The pineal gland produces melatonin, which is a hormone which modulates sleep patterns in both circadian and seasonal cycles. The shape of the gland resembles a pine cone, which gives it its name. So the pineal gland, or the pineal. See that? See this again.
Pineal gland.
Or the pineal gland. Yeah. So it represents a. Yeah, it looks like it resembles a pine cone, hence the name. That pine inside. If you look at there, we'll do a close-up look soon. So going further. Actually, here I just paused the video and just added some images here because I realized it didn't have any images later in the video. So anyway, so here's the figure right here. This is from scipost.org. Here's a pineal gland, or pineal gland. So it looks like over there, and yeah, there's the little gland over there, and there's a pituitary gland over here, and there's a brainstem just below it. There's a thalamus, and there's a corpus callosum, and there's a hypothalamus over here, which has the pituitary gland as part of it. Anyway, so it looks like this. This is that figure. If you look at it, this figure from this one is Quora.com. So there's a pineal gland over on this left side. Just this is looking at the other side of it. See how it would look like if I rotate it over. And yeah, here I just quickly rotated this way just so we can see this animation like that. And then yeah, just to compare it with this. So there's the pineal gland over there. Let's just fix this back, and let's get this back to normal. And there it is. Yeah, flip it over. So it's very fascinating. So and this one, according to this one, has a Mediterranean pine nuts, for which the pineal gland was named. That's what this figure has it, and it looks like it's set up over here. And now if you go from this website here, this is slideplayer.com. They have a figure here, close-up of a pineal gland, and this one, this image is from, see the date on this, 1662. So it's a while back, and notice the zoom in, so it looks like a pine cone set up there. So figure 6.5, close-up of pineal gland, a illustration showing the pineal gland tilting and releasing animal spirits into the nerves through wave-like openings on the walls of the ventricles. This is from R. Descartes de Hominin Leiden. This is 1662. So F. And other people here, F. Moyer Diem and P. Lefton. So yes, yeah. So zoom out here. Yes, so 1662. Yes, talking about releasing animal spirits into the nerves. Interesting. So this ventricle right here says walls of the ventricles. The ventricular system.
Ventricular.
Yes, the ventricular system is a set of 4 interconnected cavities known as cerebral ventricles in the brain. And here's an illustration of them. So rotating 3D rendering of the 4 ventricles and connections over here. So there's the blue one, the big ones there. And there's this yellow one, there's the red, and so that red, that's a connection there, and there's the one over here. So you have the 2 lateral ones, and then this one, and then this bottom part right there. And here's added the labels here. So the blue is the lateral ventricles. So this is the lateral ones. It's 2 of them. And then you have cyan color. That is the interventricular foramina. See this pronunciation?
Interventricular foramina. Monroe.
Or Monroe. Basically, that is the cyan color. Yeah, and this cyan color is over here. It's a bit hard to see that. That's this top part, right? Those are the connections over there, connecting from this lateral ventricles to this central, or this second ventricle, or third ventricle, actually, because the lateral ones have 2. So then the yellow is a third ventricle, and then the red is the cerebral aqueduct, or sylvius. See this?
Sylvius.
Yeah, sylvius. And then the purple is the 4th ventricle. So there's the aqueduct there, and there's a 4th ventricle there. And this bottom part is green. This green continues with the central canal. Anyways, that's those parts for later time, maybe later in this video. But yeah, I just wanted to illustrate those ventricles there. So anyways, this is interesting here, talking about animal spirits and so on. And this close-up of it looks like a pine cone. And now, interestingly, if you'll see a lot of this pine cone symbolism a lot. So this is from Tamira, or Tamira.com. Staff of Osiris with pine cone. There's a staff of Dionysus with pine cone. There's a staff of Bacchus with pine cone. There's Pope with a pine cone there. And Assyrian deities, gods, with pine cones in their hands. And apparently the largest pine cone statue in the world is in the Vatican City. It's a giant pine cone there. And even this part looks like an eye there. Anyways, here's another more symbolism. This figure, the Egyptian Eye of Horus resembles a cross-section of her brain. So if a brain like this, I believe the pituitary, the pineal gland is over here. And yeah, let's just look at it. Actually, if that's over there, let's have a look at that other setup. Yeah, so this is a pineal gland right here. Yes, it should be there. The pineal gland is over there. Anyways, so here's that Eye of Horus. So Egyptian Eye of Horus, and yeah, it's right over there. This is the so this is considered the thalamus, corpus callosum, this top part, and etc. is hypothalamus going down here. Where's the hypothalamus on here? There's the hypothalamus is the eye part. Then there's the medulla oblongata over here, and that's this extension over there towards the brainstem. And here's another comparison look right here. So there it is. This is a pineal gland, I believe. And yeah, it looks like that. There's the it looks like an eye. Might as well be that, because yeah, it's just if you likely they just cut up a brain, that person's brain, and see what looked inside. Especially when you cut it halfway, and looks like that. And yeah, so hence the third eye symbolism and so on. So anyways, that's for another day. Going further, let's go scroll back up here. We talked about circadian rhythm. So the pineal gland. Right here is a small endocrine gland in the brain of the most vertebrates, and produces melatonin, which is a hormone which modulates sleep patterns in both circadian and seasonal cycles. All right, let's take a look at that. And a circadian rhythm. See the pronunciation?
Circadian.
Yeah, so a circadian rhythm or circadian cycle is a natural internal process that regulates the sleep-wake cycle. And repeats roughly every 24 hours. It can refer to any process that originates within an organism. i.e. endogenous. So that's endogenous within. In response to environment, in response to the environment or entrained by the environment, these 24-hour rhythms are driven by a circadian clock, and they have been widely observed in plants, animals, fungi, and cyanobacteria. The term circadian comes from the Latin circa, or circa. Let's see this.
Circa.
Let's try that again. I don't know why that guy's voice came in.
Circa.
All right, circa. So from the Latin circa, meaning, quote, around or approximately. And diem, or let's see this pronunciation.
DM.
Diem meaning day. So basically, approximately day. Processes with 24-hour cycles are more generally called diurnal rhythms. So processes with 24 cycles are more commonly called this one.
Diurnal rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm. Yes, this is more generally, and diurnal. Say this again. Diurnal rhythms should not be called circadian rhythms unless they can be confirmed as endogenous and not environmental. Yeah, so in general, 24-hour cycles are diurnal, but if they're endogenous, then they are circadian. And yeah, so basically, but these circadian ones can respond to environment entrained by it, or the internal setup can be changed by the outside case. Yes. Yeah, so it's basically a different classification setup. So features of the human circadian biological clock. Actually, before we get to this one, let's just go over that entrainment right here. So entrainment occurs when rhythmic, physiological, or behavioral events match their period to that of an environmental oscillation. It is ultimately the interaction between circadian rhythms and the environment. A central example is the entrainment of circadian rhythms to the daily light-dark cycle, which ultimately is determined by the Earth's rotation. And over here, entrainment helps organisms maintain an adaptive phase relationship with the environment, as well as preventing drifting of a free-running rhythm. So yes, basically the environment, the endogenous circadian rhythm can adjust itself so that it matches up with the environment right there. Yeah, which is quite interesting. And yeah, so you have advantages when you match up with it, and yeah, so you could sleep when it's dark and do stuff when it's light. So anyways, features of the circadian biological clock. So let's start from, what should we start from? Midnight right here. Yeah, so it's midnight's dark, and then 2 a.m. is your deepest sleep, and then at 4:30 is the lowest temperature, and then 6 a.m. you got dawn, the sun's coming up. Then 6:45 is sharpest rise in blood pressure. And then 7:30 a.m. melatonin secretion stops. And then 8:30 bowel movement likely. So, and then highest testosterone secretion is at 9 a.m. And then high alertness is at 10 a.m. Then you have noon, and you do a bunch of stuff. And then your best coordination is at 4:30 a.m. Then your fastest reaction time's at no, I mean not 4:30 a.m. This is 14:30, so that's 2:30 p.m. Not a.m. I don't know what I was talking about. And the next one is 15:30. That is 3:30 p.m. That's your fastest reaction time. And then your greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscle strength is at 17. That's 5 p.m. Very interesting. Then you have 8. And then this is 18 o'clock. That is 6 p.m. And then 16:30 or 6:30 p.m. or 18:30. It's highest blood pressure. Then 19 at 7 p.m. That is highest body temperature. And then 21 2100, you call it like that, or 21 21 hours. This is at 8. Yeah, this is at 9. No, this is at 9 p.m. Melatonin secretion starts. So you're starting it, so you want to go back to sleep. And then this one is at this is at 10. Yeah, this is at 10:30. So bowel movements suppressed right here. So 10:30 p.m. Or 22 hours 30 minutes. Bowel movements suppressed. You want to go to sleep, and then you have so it's 10:30 and then midnight, etc. Then you're back in there. So here is that image there. So it's dark and it's sun shining. Oh, the sun rises, and then it's this is a light dark cycle. And yeah, basically the noon. You have the sun, and then it gets darker. It gradually gets darker and it goes dark. Anyways, going further, a season is a division of the year based on changes in weather, ecology, and the number of daylight hours in a given region. Yeah, and if I teleport back up here, so the pineal gland, they modulate both circadian and seasonal cycles via this melatonin hormone. So seasonal is that changes in the environment, etc. So seasonal is division of the year based on changes in weather, ecology, and the number of daylight hours in a given region. And the pituitary gland, see the pronunciation here?
Pituitary.
Yeah, it's a pituitary gland or hypophysis or hypophysis is an endocrine gland about the size of a pea and weighing 0.5 grams or 0.018 ounces in humans. Hormones secreted from the pituitary gland help to control growth, blood pressure, energy management, all functions of the sex organs, thyroid glands, and metabolism, as well as some aspects of pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, water-salt concentration at the kidneys, temperature regulation, and pain relief. So that's a quite powerful setup over there. Yeah, pretty much functions everything. The thyroid or thyroid gland is an endocrine gland. So let's look at the pituitary and then the thyroid and then the ones we covered in the pineal gland. So we went over the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and then there's the thyroid gland, which also has a parathyroid. After that is adrenal, and then the pancreas, and the ovary and testes. Let's continue further. Alright, so let's take a look here. So the thyroid or thyroid gland is an endocrine gland in vertebrates. In humans, it is in the neck and consists of two connected lobes. The thyroid gland secretes three hormones. The two thyroid hormones, triiodothyronine, see the pronunciation here, or T3?
Triiodothyronine.
Triiodothyronine, or T3, and thyroxine, see this pronunciation, or T4.
Thyroxine.
Yeah, thyroxine, and a peptide hormone, calcitonin.
Calcitonin.
Alright, got that right. The thyroid hormones influence the metabolic rate and protein synthesis, and in children, growth and development, and calcitonin plays a role in calcium homeostasis, maintaining the appropriate calcium levels. Alright, and then the parathyroid glands are small endocrine glands in the neck of humans and other tetrapods. Humans usually have 4 parathyroid glands located on the back of the thyroid gland in variable locations. The thyroid gland produces and secretes parathyroid hormone in response to a low blood calcium, which plays a key role in regulating the amount of calcium in the blood and within the bones. Going further, it's the adrenal, see this pronunciation?
Adrenal gland.
Yeah, the adrenal glands, this is just above the kidneys there. The adrenal glands, also known as suprarenal glands. Suprarenal glands are endocrine glands that produce a variety of hormones, including adrenaline, and the steroids aldosterone and cortisol. So aldosterone, see this pronunciation?
Aldosterone.
Or aldosterone and cortisol. They are found above the kidneys. Adrenaline, let's see this pronunciation again.
Adrenaline.
Or adrenaline, also known as
epinephrine.
Or epinephrine is a hormone and medication which is involved in regulating visceral functions. Let's see this pronunciation.
Visceral.
Yeah, visceral functions, e.g. respiration. It plays an important role in the fight or flight response by increasing blood flow to muscles, output of the heart by acting on the SA node. We'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, pupil dilation response, so pupils widening, and regulating blood sugar level. It's just viscera. Let's see this pronunciation here.
Viscera.
Yeah, so viscera is visceral functions. Viscera or singular viscous. Viscous right here.
Viscous.
Yeah, viscous refers to the internal organs of the abdominal, thoracic, and pelvic cavities. So yes, this is the respiration, etc. So that's a thoracic. That's those cavities, those organs in those cavities. So the pelvic cavity is a body cavity that is bounded by the bones of the pelvis. And the pelvis is plural pelvis, the pronunciation here.
Pelvis
Or pelvis or pelvises, or
pelvises.
or pelvises is the lower part of the trunk between the abdomen and the thighs, sometimes also called pelvic region, together with its embedded skeleton, sometimes also called bony pelvis or pelvic skeleton. Right here, this is male type pelvis. Yeah, so that's how it looks like there. There's that, there's a vertebrate column over there, and there's a pubic arch and so on. So it's a male one, and let's see, the female one's more open, like a female type pelvis. The pubic arch is more wide, and this one's thinner inside there. It's very interesting setup here. This bigger opening, a bigger bottom there, and this one is more compressed, and so on. Going further, so the fight or flight or freeze, or the fight-flight response, also called hyperarousal, or the acute stress response, is a psychological reaction that occurs in response to a perceived harmful event, attack, or threat to survival. It was first described by Walter Bradford Cannon. His theory states that animals react to threats with a general discharge of the sympathetic nervous system, preparing the animal for fighting or fleeing. So you have that emergency response system right there. And just a side note, just this harmful event, attack, or threat to survival, and good example is just when you turn the news on the TV. Just ask yourself: are they trying to scare you into getting a fight, flight, or obey government psychological reaction to perceived harmful event, attack, a threat, etc.? So yes. Anyways, cardiac output. This is over here, so helps increase cardiac output. There's adrenaline right here. So output of the heart by acting on the SA node. So going here. So the cardiac output, CO, also known as heart output, is a term used in cardiac physiology that describes the volume of blood being pumped by the heart by the left and right ventricle per unit time. And this is the SA node. So the sinoatrial node. See this pronunciation? Sinoatrial node, or the sinuatrial node.
Sinuatrial.
Yeah, the sinuatrial node, SA node, or sinus node, is a group of cells known as pacemaker cells located in the wall of the right atrium, hence the atrial, of the heart. These cells have the ability to spontaneously produce an electrical impulse or action potential that travels through the electrical conduction system of the heart, causing it to contract. So that's a ability to spontaneously add it, so you can beat much faster than typically normally that it would, which is quite a fascinating emergency response. And here's dilation and constriction of the pupil. So you have the muscles expanding or contracting. This pupil, that opening there, just quite fascinating there. Yes. So yeah, when you have bright light on it, it wants to dim it. When you have less light, it will open up to allow more light in. All right, now let's look at this aldosterone. See this pronunciation?
Aldosterone.
Or aldosterone. This is also part of the this right here. No, that's if you scroll up here. So the adrenal glands above the kidneys, they also produce adrenaline and this aldosterone and cortisol. So go over aldosterone right there. So aldosterone is essential for sodium conservation in the kidney, salivary glands, sweat glands, and colon. It plays a central role in the homeostatic regulation of blood pressure, plasma sodium, or Na+, and potassium, K+ levels. And cortisol is released with a diurnal cycle. Yeah, diurnal cycle. Remember the diurnal cycle over here. And this is processes with 24 hours. 24-hour cycles are more generally called this. And yeah, so that's just a general 24 hours. And it's circadian if it's endogenous. So it should be circadian. Let's go back. Yeah, so diurnal or circadian in this case. And its release is increased in response to stress and low blood glucose concentration. It functions to increase blood pressure throughout, or through glucogenesis to suppress the immune system and to aid in the metabolism of fat, protein, and carbohydrates. It also decreases bone formation. Interesting. So a lot of functions are given to these hormones or these different molecules, etc. Part of the gland. So this is gluconeogenesis. Yeah, that's gluconeogenesis, not glucogenesis.
Gluconeogenesis.
Or gluconeogenesis, gluconeogenesis. GNG is a metabolic pathway that results in the generation of glucose from certain non-carbohydrate carbon substrates. That's interesting. So increased blood sugar through this right here, gluconeogenesis. It does not, that gets generation of glucose from non-carbs substrates. That's very interesting. Anyways, going further, so the ovary is an organ found in the female reproductive system that produces an ovum. It is also an endocrine gland because of the various hormones that it secretes, and the ovaries secrete hormones that play a role in the menstrual cycle and fertility. So there's the ovary, there's a fallopian tube, there's an ovary right here, there's ovary schematic, there's ovaries right here, and uterus and cervix over here. The ovaries form part of the female reproductive system and attach to the fallopian tubes. And here's added note. So the ovum or the egg cell inside there. So ovary produces the egg cells. The egg cell or ovum. And now let's look at testicles or testes. Is in the male ones. This is the female one. It also acts as an endocrine gland. The male one as well. So a testicle or testes or testis. Let's say this pronunciation.
Testis.
And then plural is testes.
Testes.
Yeah, is the male reproductive gland or gonad in all animals, including humans. It is homologous to the female ovary. The functions of the testes are to produce both sperm and androgens, primarily testosterone.
Androgens.
Yeah, primarily testosterone. So note that a gonad, sex cell or reproductive gland is a mixed gland that produces the gametes and sex hormones of an organism. Female reproductive cells are egg cells, and male reproductive cells are sperm. The male gonad, the testicle, produces sperm in the form of spermatozoa. It's pronunciation here.
Spermatozoa.
Yeah, and then the female gonad, the ovary, produces egg cells or that ovum. Sex hormones are also known as sex steroids, let's see this pronunciation.
Gonadocorticoids.
Or gonadocorticoids and gonadal, or let's see this pronunciation here.
Gonadal
steroids are steroid hormones that interact with vertebrate steroid hormone receptors. And androgen, right here.
Androgen.
Yes, an androgen, so it produces sperm and androgens there, primarily testosterone. And androgen from Greek, this word andri, the stem of the word meaning man, is any natural or synthetic steroid hormone that regulates the development and maintenance of male characteristics in vertebrates by binding to androgen receptors. Yeah, so this androgen steroid hormone is basically dealing with male characteristics and regulating development and maintenance, etc. And the primary one is testosterone, and the functions of the testes is to produce both sperm and androgens, primarily testosterone. So testosterone is the primary sex hormone and anabolic steroid in males. In humans, testosterone plays a key role in the development of male reproductive tissues, such as testes and prostate, as well as promoting secondary sexual characteristics, such as increased muscle and bone mass, and the growth of body hair. In addition, testosterone in both sexes is involved in health and well-being, including moods, behavior, and in the prevention of osteoporosis. Insufficient levels of testosterone in men may lead to abnormalities, including frailty or just weakness, and bone loss. In men, testosterone is mainly produced in the testes. In women's bodies, testosterone is produced in the ovaries, adrenal glands, that's the ones above the kidneys, fat cells, and skin cells. So anabolic steroids increase anabolic steroids increase protein within cells, especially in skeletal muscles, and also have varying degrees of viralizing. Let's see the pronunciation here.
Virilizing.
Or virilizing, which is basically masculinization effects, including induction of the development and maintenance of masculine secondary sexual characteristics, such as the growth of facial and body hair. Osteoporosis is a systemic skeletal disorder characterized by low bone mass, micro-architectural deterioration, pronunciation?
Deteriorate.
Yeah, deterioration of bone tissue leading to bone fragility and consequent increase in fracture risk. It is the most common reason for a broken bone among the elderly. The prostate right here, yeah, which was mentioned above here. So in humans, testosterone plays a key role in the development of male reproductive tissues such as testes and prostate. Yeah, so if we deal with prostate right here, the prostate is an accessory gland of the male reproductive system and a muscle-driven mechanical switch between urination and ejaculation. The prostate gland produce and contain fluid that forms part of semen, the substance that is emitted during ejaculation as part of the male sexual response. And just the word accessory just means additional, so it's additional gland of the male reproductive system. The main one is the testes, and then this is additional, and it's combined with a whole bunch of other different glands there. Anyways, going further, let's take a look at this. So the urinary bladder, or simply bladder, is a hollow muscular organ in humans and other vertebrates that stores urine from the kidneys before disposal by urination. And this is just to illustrate the location of the prostate. And there's just below the bladder over there. So these are lymph nodes over there. There's a seminal vesicle. There's a rectum over here. So there's testicle. So there's the penis, and there's the urethra. So that's the urination/ejaculation tube there. It goes over there. There's a prostate right here that produces that fluid. Prostate gland produces and can contain fluid that forms part of semen. So that's set up there. And there's the bladder, and so on. So this shows the prostate and nearby organs. And if you zoom in, this shows the inside of the prostate, urethra, rectum, and bladder. So it's the inside of it, cross section and out. There's a prostate, and so it's surrounding that. It's pretty interesting. There's a urethra over there. Yeah, and I would think, both these are just a part of the prostate there, so around there. Very, very interesting. There's a bladder, and the bladder, or urinary bladder, is a hollow muscular organ that basically stores urine from the kidneys before disposal by urination. Anyways, going further, so in humans, specifically, the major endocrine glands and the thyroid gland, the major endocrine glands are the thyroid gland and adrenal glands. These ones, remember, they distribute the hormones, etc., to the circulating system, or the circulation system. Many other organs that are part of other body systems have secondary endocrine functions, including bone, kidneys, liver, heart, and gonads. So for example, kidneys secrete the endocrine hormone erythropoietin. Let's see pronunciation here.
Erythropoietin.
Erythropoietin.
Stimulant.
Let's try that again. My computer sometimes just does that.
Hormone erythropoietin.
Erythropoietin. So this hormone stimulates red blood cell production in the bone marrow. Hormones can be amino acid complexes, steroids. This right here.
Eicosanoids.
Eicosanoids, eicosanoids, which are a type of oxidized fatty acids. They could also be this leukotrienes. Let's see this.
Leukotrienes.
Leukotrienes, type of oxidized fatty acid as well, or prostaglandins.
Prostaglandins.
Prostaglandins, which are psychologically active lipid compounds, which is subclass of this eicosanoids over here. So the fatty acids. The endocrine system can be contrasted to both exocrine glands, which secrete hormones to the outside of the body, and paracrine signaling between cells over a relatively short distance. So basically endocrine is within the body in the circulating system, and then the exocrine is outside the body or into cavities of the body. And then the paracrine signaling is between cells over a relatively short distance. Endocrine glands have no ducts, opening, or channel. They are vascular and commonly have intracellular vacuoles or granules that store their hormones. In contrast, exocrine glands such as salivary glands, sweat glands, and glands within the gastrointestinal tract tend to be much less vascular and have ducts or a hollow lumen. That's interesting right here. So now let's MES note. Yeah, this one here, bone, because it was mentioned over here. So many other organs that are part of other body systems have secondary endocrine functions. Yeah, so you have the bone as well. So kidneys, liver, heart, and gonads all act as secondary endocrine functions. So bone is an interesting one here. So bone as an endocrine gland. So bone controls phosphate metabolism by releasing fibroblast growth factor 23, FGF-23, which is a protein which acts on kidneys to produce phosphate reabsorption. Bone cells also release a hormone called osteocalcin or calcin.
Osteocalcin.
Yeah, so osteocalcin, which contributes to the regulation of blood sugar, glucose, and fat deposition. Osteocalcin increases both the insulin secretion and sensitivity, in addition to boosting the number of insulin-producing cells and reducing stores of fat. That's very interesting. And this right here, yeah, we're going to see how the liver acts. Like it says, so we have the bone, kidneys, liver, heart, and gonads. And yeah, now here we'll look at liver, but we already went over kidney here. So kidneys secrete this endocrine hormone, erythropoietin over there. Yeah, so that's that one. So now if we look at the liver, it's an example of this. This one is from open.organstate.education. Yeah, that website there. So the liver is responsible for secreting at least 4 important hormones or hormone precursors. Insulin-like growth factor, this is somatomedin. Let's see the pronunciation.
Somatomedin.
Somatomedin. Angiotensinogen.
Angiotensinogen.
Yeah, angiotensin.
Thrombopoietin.
Okay, let's try this again. That was
Angiotensinogen.
Angiotensinogen. And then this is thrombopoietin.
Thrombopoietin.
Thrombopoietin. And then this is hepcidin.
Hepcidin.
Hepcidin. So those are the 4 hormones or hormone precursors. And then insulin-like growth factor 1 is the immediate stimulus for growth in the body, especially of the bones. Angiotensinogen or ogen is a precursor to angiotensin, which is mentioned earlier. And I just put a note here. So in this source, it was mentioned earlier in this, not in this video, which increases blood pressure. Thrombopoietin stimulates production of the blood's platelets. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Let's try this.
Platelet.
Yeah, platelets. And hepcidins block the release of iron from cells in the body, helping regulate iron homeostasis in our body fluids. And now if we look at platelets right here, so platelets, also called thrombocytes from the Greek, this word meaning clot and cell. So cell clot are a component of blood whose function, along with the coagulation factors, is to react to bleeding from blood vessel injury by clumping, thereby initiating a blood clot. Platelets have no cell nucleus. They are fragments of cytoplasm that are derived from the megakaryocytes. See the pronunciation here?
Megakaryocytes.
The megakaryocytes, which are platelet-producing cells. Yeah, of the bone marrow or lung, which then enter the circulation. Yeah, and coagulation right here. Says coagulation factors. Coagulation, also known as clotting, is a process by which blood changes from a liquid to a gel, forming a blood clot. And a thrombosis or thrombus. See this pronunciation?
Thrombus.
Yeah, so thrombus, colloquially, or it's commonly called a blood clot, is a final product of the blood coagulation step in hemostasis or stasis. Hemostasis. Hemostasis, see that again, actually.
Hemostasis.
Yeah, so hemostasis. Hemostasis or homeostasis, see the pronunciation here?
Hemostasis.
I think that, yeah, both of them the same pronunciation. Hemostasis, or hemostasis with the AE, is a process to prevent and stop bleeding, meaning to keep blood within a damaged blood vessel. The opposite of hemostasis or hemostasis is hemorrhage, which means blood loss. See the pronunciation here.
Hemorrhage.
Yeah, so hemorrhage, which is blood loss or just bleeding. Alright, so let's make this smaller. So blood clot diagram, there's a thrombus or that blood clot over there. So blood clot diagram, so you have the valve here, and you have blood flow going around this, and then now you have a thrombus, which is clogging up there. And then, yeah, prevents blood from going, and there's this, blood flow is slowed down by going around the edges there when it can. Okay, so now here's this table here. So open.organstate.education. This shows organs with secondary and endocrine functions and their major hormones. It's table 17.8 of that website. So, for example, if you have the heart right here, so yeah, it shows these basically secondary and endocrine functions. So the heart, major hormones is the atrial natriuretic peptide ANP, so affects, reduces blood volume, blood pressure, and sodium concentration ions, so Na+. And then you have the gastrointestinal tract. Major hormones are gastrin, secretin, and cholecytokinin, aids digestion of food and buffering of stomach acids. Then you have the further gastrointestinal tract. So you have the glucose-dependent insulinotropic peptide (GIP) and glucagon or glucagon like peptide 1 or GLP-1, which stimulate beta cells of the pancreas to release insulin. Then you have kidneys, which is renin, the renin hormone, stimulates release of aldosterone. And here I quickly just teleported over here just on insulin. So just to recap, I needed to recap. So insulin from the Latin insula, meaning island, is a peptide hormone produced by beta cells of the pancreatic islets. It is considered to be the main anabolic hormone of the body. It regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins by promoting the absorption of glucose from the blood into liver, fat, and skeletal muscles. So basically the main anabolic or building up hormone. And it regulates metabolism, and it promotes absorption of glucose into liver, fat, skeletal muscles. Basically, it's about building up. Yeah, building up basically the whole the body, etc., and the muscles and so on. And just the various macromolecules. Anyways, now teleport back over to this this table right here. So so kidneys, renin stimulates release of aldosterone. So kidneys right here. You have also the other one, calcitriol, aids in the absorption of Ca2+ or calcium ions. And then further skeleton FGF23 hormone inhibits production of calcitriol and increases phosphate excretion. And then further skeleton, you have the osteocalcin, increases insulin production. Adipose tissue, leptin, promotes satiety signals in the brain. Actually, I think this is pronounced satiety. Let's see that again. I'll just type it here. Satiety. And then pronounce this one. See the pronunciation?
Satiety.
Yeah, so satiety, that basically a feeling of fullness, etc. Satiety, it signals in the brain. Then you have further adipose tissue, or the just body fat. Adiponectin. Adiponectin reduces insulin resistance. Yeah, so apologies for that pronunciation attempts. But yeah, so skin, cholecalciferol, modified to form vitamin D. And then thymus and other organs, thymosins, among other things, aids in the development of T lymphocytes of the immune system. Then you have the liver, insulin-like growth factor 1, stimulates bodily growth. And then further, liver angiotensinogen raises blood pressure. Liver thrombopoietin causes increase in platelets. And liver here, hepcidin blocks release of iron into bodily fluid, so regulate iron homeostasis, etc. And now we can zoom in. Or continue further. So here, this source is from, again, the same one, open.organstate.education. So when the body experiences increase in blood volume or pressure, the cells of the heart's atrial wall stretch. These are the top ones that receive the blood. In response, specialized cells in the wall of the atria produce and secrete the peptide hormone atrial natriuretic peptide ANP. So that's mentioned over here, this heart, atrial natriuretic peptide ANP. And then what happens, ANP signals the kidneys to reduce sodium reabsorption, thereby decreasing the amount of water reabsorbed from the urine filtrate and reducing blood volume. So other actions of ANP include inhibition of vasodilation and the inhibition of renin secretion of the inhibition of slowdown of the renin secretion and of the renin angiotensin aldosterone system, RAAS. Therefore, ANP aids in decreasing blood pressure, blood volume, and blood sodium levels. Yeah, so let's just try to grasp this all in one go. So when the body experiences increase in blood pressure, so the body, the cell, increase in blood volume or pressure, the heart's atrial walls stretch. So in response, then you'll have specialized walls in the cells of the atria produce this peptide hormone ANP, and this tells the kidneys to reduce sodium reabsorption, and then which decreases the amount of water reabsorbed from the urine filtrate and reduces blood volume, so it reduces the blood pressure because there's less, basically less fluid there. Other actions of this include inhibition of vasodilation, and we'll get to that in a bit, and then the slowdown of this renin secretion, or inhibition of renin secretion, and this one right here, end of the RAAS right there. And then so aids in decreasing blood pressure, blood volume, and sodium, blood sodium levels. So here reduces blood volume, blood pressure, and Na plus concentration. So releases this whenever there's high blood pressure. And so source here, this is from differencebetween.net. Urine. Yeah, and the reason I'm going for this is because this says urine filtrate. So so thereby decreasing the amount of water reabsorbed from the urine filtrate and reducing blood volume. But just to compare the difference, urine is the nitrogenous liquid form of waste that is excreted from the body with the help of kidneys through the process of urination. Filtrate, so the difference, so here, so urine versus the filtrate. Filtrate is a liquid that is formed in the kidneys while urine formation is taking place. Yeah, so basically this filtrate, it's being produced there as liquid that is formed in the kidneys, and while urine formation is being taken place, so then urine filtrate is just before it becomes fully urine. So decrease the amount of water reabsorbed from the urine filtrate. So that's taking some water out while you're producing urine. So vasodilation is a widening of blood vessels. It results from relaxation of smooth muscle cells within the cell walls. In particular, in the large veins, large arteries, and smaller arterioles. So that's where it occurs. The relaxation of smooth muscles, typically in these. And that it makes widening of the blood vessels as they relax. Then basically the fluid pressure pushes it outwards. This process is opposite of vasoconstriction, which is the narrowing of blood vessels where the cells tighten up, or they contract, or they just push against each other, so they're not relaxed, so they're stressed. So a 3D medical animation still image showing normal blood vessel L. And then you have the vasodilation R, so this relaxed one, and it allows more flow through it. So it's very, very interesting. So the whole body it's quite remarkable. Even the blood vessels can tighten or relax to allow more or less fluid in. And just a note on that arteriole, again, I think we went over it early in the video, but just let's go over it again. So an arteriole is a small diameter blood vessel in the microcirculation that extends and branches out from an artery and leads to capillaries. Arterioles, see the pronunciation again?
Arterioles.
Right, I don't know why the voice just changed somehow.
Arterioles.
Yeah, so arterioles have muscular walls, usually only 1 to 2 layers of smooth muscle cells, and are the primary site of vascular resistance. The greatest change in blood pressure and velocity of blood flow occurs at the transition of arterioles to capillaries. It's the greatest change in blood pressure and velocity. Yes, so basically, they are the vascular resistance areas, the main of them. And this vascular resistance is the resistance that must be overcome to push blood through the circulatory system and create flow. So these are small blood vessels extend and branch out from an artery and leads to capillaries. So here's a diagram over here. So types of blood vessels, including an arterial, an artery, as well as capillaries. You have capillaries, this capillary network, the small ones there, and then the arterial is the one connected over to the artery. And then you have also the venule connected to the vein. And this is the biggest place for the vascular resistance. So if you were blood's going through, so if you have blood going through right here, you're gonna have a resistance part here, which you can also hinder it and then basically create a bunch of mayhem and slows down over there. That's very interesting. And now let's look at this RAS or RAAS that was mentioned. See where it was mentioned right here. So other actions of the ANP, that hormone from the heart. This is, let's put this in bold. Yeah, so let's go over there. Yeah, so the other one is inhibition of renin secretion and of the this system right here. So let's go over here. So the renin angiotensin system, RAS, or renin angiotensin aldosterone, the pronunciation here. Aldosterone system, RAAS, is a hormone system that regulates blood pressure and fluid and electrolyte balance, as well as systemic vascular resistance. An electrolyte is a medium containing ions that is electrically conducting through the movement of ions, but not conducting electrons. Yes, basically it's electrically conductive medium of ions without, but not electrons. So not electrons setup. So it's not the typical electric current system, which is mainly just electrons flow. This is ion flow, non-electron flow, which is quite interesting. All right, so a non-electron ions.